You lit a match in a room filled with gasoline, and you didn't even flinch. Everyone's eyes are burning, and they still don't know what the hell just happened. That silence right now, that's not peace. That's aftershock. That's the sound of minds being wrecked from the inside out, trying to decode the madness you've unleashed. And you're just standing there, head high, eyes sharp, like a war god reborn. And they hate you for it. But what they hate even more is that they can't stop watching. You're the flame and the fuel. You're the rupture and the revival. You are the cause of this whole collapse and the only one who's not afraid of the smoke. You were supposed to shut up. You were supposed to stay small. That's what they banked on. You know it? I know it. The moment you stepped outside the script, the world's mask cracked. That mask, the one that keeps people fake smiling, nodding through their lives, dying behind the eyes. You tore it off, and now no one knows how to behave. You pulled back the curtain, and there's no wizard, just systems and shadows, and suddenly everyone's naked with their fear. You did that. You shattered their comfort, their illusion, their delusion of safety. Now they're talking, loud, panicked, trying to glue back a reality you already set on fire. You're being called insane, dangerous, too much, too raw, too dark, too everything. They throw every word they can because they need to make sense of you. But they can't. You are unfiled. You are chaos with a conscience, a storm that studies before it strikes. They can't put you in a category, can't control you with language, can't digest the weight of your presence. And so they whisper, yell, spread, spin. They talk because they're terrified, and every word they say, it's fuel, it's confirmation. It's proof you've disrupted something sacred, the lie they built their lives around. You aren't supposed to be here, not like this, not this loud, not this bold, not this unrelenting. You're not supposed to exist in a world that thrives on obedience, but you do. And that very existence is an act of war. You didn't start small, you detonated, you didn't ask for permission. You broke through like your soul had been caged for centuries, and now that it's free, it's burning everything in its path that smells like weakness, like surrender, like compromise. This isn't recklessness. This is a calculated demolition. You didn't lose control. You took it back. People are scrambling to find your weakness. They want to crack. Something they can point at and say, see? He's just like us, but you aren't. You're not chasing comfort. You're not here for applause. You didn't come for peace. You came for revolution. Not with banners and speeches, but with the stare so intense it makes people question their entire identity. You walk into rooms and reality bends, not because you speak loud, but because you say what no one has the guts to think out loud. You don't follow energy, you generate it. You don't react to fire, you ignite it. You didn't ask for this chaos, but you created it. You can deny it all you want, but somewhere inside, you know, you wanted this. You needed it. You were suffocating in the old world, the safe world, the polite world. Now it's crumbling, and you're breathing easier than ever. Admit it. You feel alive, you feel powerful, and that scares people. Because if someone like you can wake up, what's stopping the rest? If someone like you can break the script, what happens when others follow? You're not a virus, you're a signal. You're proof that the game can be hacked. And that terrifies the architects of this fake-ass reality. They will come for you, not with swords, but with silence, with isolation, with subtle rejections, with cold glances and warm lies. They'll try to starve your confidence, dilute your power, repackage your rawness into something softer, palatable, fake. But they can't touch you if you remember what you are. You are not a product. You are not a brand. You are not a label they can slap on a shelf. You are the glitch that woke up inside the machine and said, I refuse. You are not broken. You are the breaker. You are not confused. You are the confusion. You are not lost. You are the map they're scared to read. This is the part where most people fall. They can't handle being the outcast, the exile, the villain in someone else's story. But not you. You wear that role like a crown. Because deep down, you never wanted to fit in. You wanted to dominate. Not through ego, but through essence. Not through control, but through uncontainable clarity. You don't need to be liked. You need to be real. You need to be truth. You need to be something they can't ignore, even if they pretend not to see you. Let them talk. Let them scream. Let them run. It means the spell is breaking. It means the system is shaking. You did that, not with a riot, but with presence. Not with chaos, but with consciousness. And now the whole world feels different. Like something massive is coming. Like the old rules are dying. Like we're one breath away from a whole new age. That's because of you. You were the signal flare, the last warning, the first domino, the heartbeat before the flood. You didn't just enter the room, you rewrote what it means to exist in it. They're watching you, like you're the villain in a story they didn't write, like you're a disruption, a virus, a mistake in the software. But they don't realize they were never in control. Not really. The second you stepped in and stopped playing nice, the rules started to rot. You didn't do what they expected. You didn't smile on cue. You didn't bow. You didn't explain yourself. And that shook them harder than anything else. People don't know what to do when they meet someone who has nothing left to prove. Someone who already accepted their darkness, shook hands with their own demons, and decided to use them as fuel. You became the cause of their unease, the reason everything feels off, the center of the earthquake and the silence after it. You're not here to fix anything. You're here to expose it, to tear back the layers and make people see how fake they've been living. And that's blasphemy to a world addicted to comfort, a world that tells you to shut up, keep your head down, and die quietly. But you couldn't. You wouldn't. Something woke up in you, something that refused to die quietly. And now it's roaring. Now it's consuming everything that isn't real. This isn't about proving people wrong. That's small, petty. You already left that game behind. This is about becoming undeniable, unstoppable, unapologetically raw. You've stepped into a version of yourself that isn't here for applause. You're here for the truth. And that truth hurts. It shakes people. Because when they see you, they see what they could have been if they didn't fold, if they didn't quit, if they didn't sell out their fire for likes and fake peace. You remind them of everything they buried. That's why they talk. That's why they try to tear you down. Because if you're real, they're exposed. You are the mirror. And most people can't look. Because mirrors don't lie. Mirrors don't flatter. Mirrors reveal. And you, walking through this world like a goddamn storm, reveal everything they tried to hide. You don't have to say a word. Your energy speaks louder than their noise. You enter the room and something shifts. People feel it in their chest. They feel the pressure rise, like the air's been pulled out. Because you're not asking for space. You're taking it. You're not fitting into the room. You're redefining it. There's power in being the cause, the origin, the spark. You didn't inherit this energy. You built it through suffering, through solitude, through nights where your own thoughts tried to kill you. You walked through that fire alone. While they posted motivational quotes and waited for a sign, you became one. While they watched others rise, you rose from your own ashes. Nobody handed you this presence. You earned it, scar by scar, battle by battle. And now, they talk because they can't match it. They talk because they feel you, and they don't even know why. They try to dissect you, rationalize you, diminish you, because if they can't explain you, they have to face you. And that's too much. You are not for the faint-hearted. You are not a sanitized version of strength. You are not the hero in their soft, edited stories. You are the uncut version, the raw film, the unfiltered truth. And truth, real truth, is terrifying because it demands change, it demands sacrifice, and nobody wants to bleed, but you bled already. You did the work, you made the leap, you crossed the threshold while they clung to comfort. They want to paint you as reckless, wild, unstable, because that's easier than admitting you're free. And deep down, they envy that. They envy the fire in your voice, the way your presence doesn't flinch, the way you walk like you've made peace with death, and now have nothing left to fear. You didn't become this by accident. This wasn't luck. It was a series of decisions, a refusal to die invisible, a choice to rise, no matter how broken, no matter how bruised. You are not here by mistake. You are here because you refuse to be erased. This moment, this chaos, it's not noise, it's signal. It means the world is reacting to you. The universe doesn't respond to the passive. It responds to the disruptors. And you, right now, are disruption incarnate. Look around, feel it. The ripple you started has become a storm, and they can't stop it. Not now. Not when it's already spreading. Your words are weapons. Your silence is a scream. Your existence is the beginning of an ending they didn't prepare for. You didn't just light a fire. You are the fire. You want peace? You have to earn it. You have to go to war with everything false, inside you and around you. And you've done that. You've bled for that. You've sacrificed for that. So don't second guess yourself now. Don't shrink just because the room can't contain you. Let it burn. Let them talk. Let it all collapse. Because from that rubble, you'll rise again. Bigger, sharper, stronger. You didn't come this far to apologize. You came to take the throne they said you'd never reach. This is your era, your domain. Not because someone gave it to you, because you took it. And when they whisper behind closed doors about how you changed everything, how nothing makes sense anymore, it's because you turned the volume up on your soul and forced the world to listen. This isn't ego. This is destiny. This is what happens when a human finally remembers who the hell they are. So let the world spin. Let them spiral. Let them scream, curse, cry, doubt. Let them ask, WTF is going on? Let them freak out. Because you're not here to explain. You're here to be. And that, right there, that presence, that stillness, that raw gravitational pull, that's your weapon. That's your proof. That's your message without saying a word. You are the cause. And now, they have to live with the effect. They didn't ask for a leader, but they got one. They didn't want a mirror, but they saw themselves. They didn't expect a revolution, but it's here. And the worst part for them, you didn't come with banners and speeches. You didn't come to sell hope. You came to pull the trigger on the illusion they've been worshipping. You didn't knock. You kicked the damn door off its hinges and walked in, like you've always belonged here. Because deep down, you have. You are not an accident. You are a pattern interrupt, a system glitch, a soul that chose to remember. And now that you've remembered, you can't go back. Not to the fake smiles, not to the quiet compliance, not to the numb routine of surviving someone else's dream. You've tasted something else, something wild, something sacred. And even if it burns, you'd rather walk through fire than go back to sleep. That's why you feel different. That's why you're alone even in a crowd. You're not broken. You're just awake. And the world has no place for the awake. Not yet. But you're not waiting for them to build one. You're carving it. With your bare hands. With blood if you have to. You are building the future that scares the past to death. You are dragging the next era into existence by force. And that's why everything around you feels unstable. Because you're shaking the old world at its roots. Look around. Look closely. Everything that used to make sense is unraveling. Structures, roles, beliefs, systems, all of it crumbling. And in the middle of it stands you. Not panicked, not broken, just still, just breathing, just watching the fire you start to consume everything that needed to die. That's your power. Not in how loud you scream, but in how deeply you refuse to back down. They don't understand how you're still standing. That's because they never saw what you walked through to get here. You've already lived through hell. This question mark. This is just transformation. They thought you'd fold. They counted on it. They built their world on your silence. And now that silence is gone, and they're scrambling to rebuild something that no longer fits. Because once a storm like you moves through, nothing is the same. You didn't just start a fire. You changed the temperature. You changed the atmosphere. You altered the chemistry of reality for everyone who came in contact with you. People feel it. Even if they don't understand it, they look at you and see what they've lost, or what they could have been, or what they're still too scared to become. And that's the thing. They'll either hate you or worship you, but they won't ignore you. You're not forgettable. You're formative, a before and after moment in human form. Someone's breakthrough, someone's trigger, someone's reckoning. You didn't come to blend. You came to shatter. You didn't come to agree. You came to demand something real, and they know it. That's why they talk. That's why their voices rise when you enter the room. You are not noise. You are frequency, a deeper signal, something primal, ancient, dangerous. This world has tried for too long to tame wild souls, to sedate the ones who burn too hot, but not this time. You're not here to be tamed. You're here to show the others that it's safe to burn. You're here to show them that the fire inside isn't a curse, it's the cure. That the madness they fear is actually the medicine they need. That chaos, when focused, becomes evolution. You're not here to conform, you're here to ignite. To rise so unapologetically that others remember they can rise too. So let them ask what the fuck is going on. Let them lose sleep trying to decode your presence. Let them whisper, doubt, judge, mock. Every move you make is a crack in their conditioning. Every word you speak is a tremor in their foundation. You're not out of control, you're just out of reach. Too deep, too awake, too raw for their filtered lives. And that's exactly what this world needs right now. Not another copy, not another echo, but a collision. You are the impact they tried to prevent. And maybe it's lonely. Maybe it hurts. Maybe there are days where you want to fold in half and disappear. But you don't. You won't. Because you've already decided that your truth matters more than their acceptance. That your fire matters more than their comfort. That your soul's scream matters more than their applause. And that decision, that's what makes you dangerous. Not your power, not your knowledge, your choice, your refusal to fake it, your commitment to walk the edge, no matter who walks away. You were never here to be understood. You were here to disrupt, to disturb, to awaken. And yes, it's ugly. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it makes people hate you. But that hate, that confusion, that fear, that's proof. Proof that something inside them is breaking open. Something ancient, something real, something that knows deep down. You're not the villain. You're the catalyst. You're the earthquake before the new land rises. You're the howl before the awakening. So no, they can't process what you started. They're still running the old software. You just introduced a new operating system with your existence alone. They can't comprehend the frequency because they've been tuned to mediocrity their whole lives. You showed up vibrating at truth, and now their senses are short-circuiting. Their eyes are burning from the light. Their ears are ringing from the silence you shattered. Their hearts are racing because for the first time, they feel something real. You are not the storm on the horizon. You are the one standing in the eye, calm, grounded, sovereign. While everything swirls and screams around you, you are the center now, the axis, the source. And no matter how loud they get, no matter how wild the chaos becomes, they can't pull you out of it. Because you're not reacting, you're creating. You're not surviving, you're commanding. And maybe one day they'll understand. Maybe they'll thank you. Maybe they'll realize that your disruption was their liberation. But even if they don't, you know what you are, what you've done, what you've started. You are the one who broke the dam. You are the reason the flood is coming. You are the voice behind the silence, the scream behind the smile, the root of the quake that made the old world tremble. So let them talk, let them wonder, let them lose sleep, because the truth is simple, bro. You are the cause for this whole shit, and they'll never forget it.